Want to welcome your guests with a beautiful new sign? Well, stay tuned to see how we make this 4-foot welcome sign for under $20. Hi, I'm Jessica with JC Creative, and if this is your first time here, I would like to welcome you. If you are a fellow creative who loves DIY projects, anything from tumblers to teas, signs, home decor, we have a little bit of everything for everyone. And I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel below and be sure to ring the little bell to be notified each and every Monday when we drop new DIY tutorials. So if you've been joining us for our fall series, you know that we've already made a wreath for our front door, and last week we made a beautiful fall tumbler for our pumpkin spice lattes. If you weren't able to check out those videos, be sure to check them out here. Today we're going to work on a 4-foot welcome sign for our front porch display. They are super easy to make and very affordable. But before we get started, I did want to take a minute to remind you to watch all the way to the end to be sure to find out what this week's freebie is going to be. But if you're ready, let's get going. Okay, so for today's project, the supplies you are going to need are, I am using a 9.5 by 4-foot board. You can purchase these pre-made, ready, sanded from Hobby Lobby. They are normally $9.99. If you use your 40% off coupon, then you get them for $6. So $6 for a board. I am going to use 2 kinds of paint, which these are about $1 a piece, which I've used them I don't know how many times. A couple cups for some water, a paintbrush, a vinyl decal. Now for the vinyl decal, I am going to put cutout letters on this board. However, you could do the opposite and cut a stencil out and you could paint on your board if you choose to. This was cut from one piece of vinyl, both kinds. So I just split I did them 2 up basically on a 4-foot piece of vinyl. So I pay about 50 cents a foot. So that's about, we got $2 and we could do 2 signs. You're gonna need some magnet, paper towels, and some kind of decorative element. So these are some things that I make. You can for sure purchase these or something similar from Hobby Lobby, but basically the O in our design is going to be empty, and these are going to be swappable, so we can magnet them in and out of place depending on, you know, the holiday or whatever we have going on. So I made a bunch of these. I am going to put these on the website so you guys could order different styles or whatever if you wanted to. But so you need some kind of decorative element to go in the center of where your O is going to be, and that really can be anything. You could buy plain wood from Hobby Lobby and make a little center thing. You could put a little bow there, a little wreath there. You could really do whatever. But for my board today, I'm going to use these pre-made rigid board decorations that I make. So that's what the magnet's for, and that's 10 feet of magnet. I think it was $5, and it'll do a ton of these. Hopefully it'll do all of these and then have some extra. So the first step is going to be painting. So I'm going to go get some water in my cups and I'll be right back and we will get started. Okay, so I have some water in my cups, and here's what the water is for. So I am going to stain this board. However, I'm not going to use traditional stain. I am going to use acrylic paint watered down to create a stain for my board. So I want this to be kind of like white with like a tint, like have a whitewash with a tint of this like teal. So I'm going to start by putting some white paint. Actually, I think I'm going to get another dish here real quick. Sorry about that. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint on the plate here. And then I'm going to take my brush. I already got paint on my hands. And I'm going to get some water on it. And I'm going to thin down this paint. I want it thin. I don't want it like, I want it more like a watery consistency versus a painted consistency, like a thick paint. And keep in mind, you can always add more paint if you get it too thin. So I'm going to start by putting some white on the board. So I want it to be transparent. I don't want, and as I do this, I'll just add some more water here. Make sure it's nice and thinned out. I want to see the wood grain through the paint. I don't want this to be a painted board. I want it to be wood. I just want to give it a wash. And yes, you can buy whitewash stain and you can do this. Same principles behind it. But I will say my 50-cent and $1 paint's a little cheaper than probably the whitewash stain. And it doesn't take a lot of paint, it goes pretty far. A little bit more paint on my plate here. That bottle's getting low. And I'm sure everybody does things a different way, but I don't know. I started staining with acrylic paint a long time ago, and I like it because I can really stain wood any color I want. Regular wood stain gets expensive, and their colors are limited. So this way, you can create a stain with any color of acrylic paint you want. You want a purple stain, you want a green stain. You mix colors together to create stain. And stains are a pain in the butt to clean up too most of the time. This washes with water. Okay, so a nice whitewash on the top of my board here, which I like. Now I'm going to add a little of my teal blue. And I don't want this to overpower it, but I do want to just have some hints of it. I'm going to just kind of take that tip of my brush and kind of gently rub down. And then this is where I'll take my paper towel and kind of just rub it in a little bit. And the reason I'm doing this is all my little characters and little things that I make, they do have like a teal kind of theme to them. They have a touch of this teal color. So this whole set will kind of match and coordinate. And this is like my favorite color in the world, so I do like it. It works with kind of all the seasons. I can do winter stuff with it. I can do fall stuff with it. I can do spring stuff with it. This is a super easy project. This is not difficult at all. You can't do this wrong. You can't mess this up. You really can't. There's really no rhyme or reason kind of where I'm putting it. I just want to touch a color. Not a lot. And you can kind of see it on there, I think. See if I can hold it up a little better so you can see. See how we're just getting touches of that teal? And you can still see, and totally see the natural wood grain. Which that's my thing with wood, is I want to be able to see the grain. That's the whole point of using wood, is for wood grain. Okay. There we go. So I'm good with that color. I like it. I got my white. Now this is pretty damp because we mixed a lot of water in that acrylic paint. So you are going to need to take a little more time to let it dry than you normally would if you were painting straight, because acrylic paint does dry pretty quick. But we are going to just give this some time to dry, and then we will come back and we will add our vinyl decal. Okay, so we're back and our board is super dry. Before I put on this decal, I did want to show you a quick technique if you wanted to age your wood a little bit. It's super quick, and all it takes is, I use my little kitchen torch, which honestly I don't use this in my kitchen. I use it for all those epoxy cups I make. But if you just take your torch, you can come along in some of these edges here and run it in here, and it will kind of give you a darkened wood look. If you want to age your board a little bit or make it look a little distressed. Always be careful when working with fire, of course. But I do sometimes I just follow along the grain and just darken it up a little bit. It just makes it look so it's not so perfect. And adds a little contrast to the board. Not everybody likes that look, but I do. I want it to look a little weathered. I'm alright with that. And you can do this before you add your paint. You can do it after you add your paint. It just de-stresses your wood a little bit, which I kind of like that look. So just wanted to show you that quick little tidbit technique that you can do if you have a little torch. If not, there's a link to these on my website, and they're fairly reasonable. I think it's less than 15 bucks, and I use it all the time. Okay, so we're gonna add our welcome letters next. I am going to move this a little bit closer to the bottom than the top. I'm not going to completely center it vertically because I think I might add a bow up here, and I don't want to give a little bit of space there at the top if I decide to go ahead and add that bow. I am going to try to center, horizontally. You can get out a measuring tape and you can measure if that's what you prefer. Me, I'm gonna eyeball this, guys. I'm gonna do it letter by letter. So what I do is I look at the corner of like this compared to this edge and this compared to this edge and make sure they're pretty even. Then I look at the space here and I look at the space here, and that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna hold this with my left hand here. I'm gonna pull this back. Just ripping that transfer tape off from underneath there. Now my first letter is down, but also my decal is held in a place. So now I come back and I pull this back. I'm not laying this down on the board just yet. I'm just trying to peel my backing off at the moment. Okay, so then what I do is I'm going to stretch this out. This transfer tape is not touching the board yet. And I'm going to look all the way down here on my E. Let me scoot this way. I guess you guys can't really see. I can. And I'm just going to try to make sure I'm standing at the end of my board looking up, that everything is straight. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to rub this down. Now, if you were doing the other method where you were going to put the hollow letters on in paint, it would be the same deal. You would lay it the same way, except for once you peel your transfer tape, you would have a negative space where you're going to put paint in. Just make sure all my edges are down. When you peel your transfer tape, it's better to stay close to the surface as you're peeling. All right, so now we have our welcome on. Okay, so now we're going to move on and put our magnet on our board and get some magnets on the back of these. Okay, so the magnet I bought comes pre-adhesive, so there is adhesive on the back. So I'm going to put one of these on here just for alignment purposes. Kind of eyeball where I want a piece of magnet. So about in here, kind of in the middle here. I'm going to peel and stick this. I'm going to kind of center it in our open dead space here. I'm going to take the other piece I cut, and I did these about an inch length. I hope that one is enough. It may not be. I may have to come back and add, you know, a little bit more. I'm not sure yet. These are pretty lightweight. They don't weigh much. And now you have a removable magnet. So I'm going to just stick, I'm just going to cut 1-inch pieces here. If you don't want to buy things like this, you can get like plain wood circles or something from like Hobby Lobby, which you probably can get like a pack of 6 for, I don't know, $4 or something like that would be my guess, $3-4. You could print out your own little pictures and you could Mod Podge them on there and then put some clear coat on if you wanted. So there's Mr. Turkey. I'm all about having decorations that are multi-purpose. I hate to pack things away and put things away. So in this case, I would be able to have one board that stays out on my porch all year long, and then I can just have a small little container or even Ziploc baggie that will hold my little characters here. So you could make all kinds of designs, even with those wood circles if you wanted to make your own. These probably be like $3 each or 4 for $10. Or I'm gonna probably sell the whole sets with the board and the, you know, and the inserts on my site. Just another thing to add to my list of things I offer. Here's my little owl, my little Halloween owl. He's super cute. And I custom cut these shapes. I do have a CNC router, so I custom cut these shapes. Then I make my designs on my computer. And then I use a process called sublimation to sublimate onto this special board that I buy. There's my little truck guy, and then there's my little heart. So, I mean, literally, they just peel them, just magnet on there, and then you can swap them out on the holidays or the season. Super easy. So I think the only, forgot Mr. Snowman. The only thing left is I think I want to add a bow to the top of our board. So I didn't have that, I didn't tell you guys to grab those supplies, but you would need 1 or 2 spools of ribbon. I have 2 sitting over there that I'm going to use to make kind of a 2-colored bow, a neutral one that kind of will go with all of my little guys here. So I'm going to grab that ribbon, be back, and we are going to make a bow real quick. Okay, so I have this ribbon left over from another project. I did try to make a different kind of bow a few minutes ago. It didn't work out well, so I'm changing plans of what I'm going to do. So that's why this is already cut. You would have normally seen me cut it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a header stripe. Let me move this down. You're seeing what I'm doing here. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a header stripe here. So I'm going to tack with hot glue my ribbon around the top of my board just to give it a decorative stripe, and then I'm just going to glue a smaller bow here. So I'm going to start, I'm actually going to put it back where it was over the edge, because then I can get behind it pretty easy. So I'm going to do the brown first, and I'll trim this once I'm done tacking it on here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back of that brown ribbon and tack it on the back. You could also use a staple if you wanted to staple it on. Then I'm gonna just run a line of hot glue here, thin line. Making sure I'm keeping a straight line here at the top and a straight line. And then I'm just gonna cut a few inches here. Enough to make it so it wraps around the back. And I'm just gonna put a little line of glue on there. Wrap that bad boy around, being careful not to glue my fingers. And this stupid paper got in the way. Straighten that out real quick. There we go. Okay, so there's the first stripe. Goodness, technical difficulties. There we go. Get that paper out of the way. I guess I didn't put enough on this one. Let's redo that one since I just tacked it down in the beginning. Okay, ribbon number 1 is down. I'm going to do the same thing with my blue ribbon here. Ooh, I need another glue stick. Having issues today. Alright, another glue stick. See what happens when I change plans mid-design. But I do this a lot. I don't know. That's what crafting's all about. Things change. Ideas change. I don't know, I feel like projects grow as they go here. So I'm going to put a stripe down the middle of the ground. I'm going to run my blue there. Going to trim my blue a few inches. Wrap that around the back. Okay, so I got a nice little header stripe there. Now we're going to take this piece I've left here, which is way bigger than what I really needed, probably, for sure. And I'm just going to make a normal standard bow. I want you to be able to see. Okay, get these guys out of the way. So I'm going to leave enough for a tail, because I can always trim it shorter. You can't add back, so I always tend to do things longer. My first loop of the blue on top, and I'm going to tie this just like you would your shoestring. I'm going to bring this around the back and around. Now when you put it back to go through, I want to tuck that under, so when I want the brown on top, so when I push it through here, I have the blue on top of the brown. So both things here have the brown, the blue and the brown in the same spot. Okay, so I have a little bow here. I'm just going to trim this rough down at the bottom for now. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to fold these in half. You're going to dovetail them. Just making a nice little angled cut there. Same over here. We are going to take this, just put it in the center, fold it in half, and then just make an angled cut. And now we have a little bow dovetail, which I'm just going to tack right on the corner here. So So I'm not covering, when this stands up, it won't cover up my W. My W will still be there. But it just adds a little bit of flair to our board, fancies it up a bit. And this ribbon cost me, one roll was 50% off, so it cost me $2. And the other roll was on clearance, so it cost me $3. I still have plenty of ribbon left for another project. So right now we are at $6 for this. We are at $1 for our vinyl, that's $7. $3 for our ribbon, that is $10 to make our sign. And then we have what you spend on your thing here. Now you don't have to have this option here. You can simply cut it out and it will be a normal welcome sign with a cute little bow that you can put on your front porch. But if you want to do this, then you can buy a set of these, or you can go to the store and you can make little options. So let's see, it is fall time, right? It's not quite turkey day yet. Where's the little truck? I like the truck with the pumpkins. And that would be our sign. So we will, let's get it outside, see what it looks like, and wrap this project up. So here's our finished project. It was super simple, very affordable. If you had to buy everything, like you'd have anything in your arsenal, you're probably looking at $15 or less to remake this sign. We do have the interchangeable inserts available on our website if you're interested in purchasing those, and the link to that is in the description below. Also, if you are not part of our Facebook group, I encourage you to jump over there and join. The link is also in the description below, and that is where you'll find this week's freebie. So the SVG file to create the welcome letters in vinyl, that is there in the documents, but you got to be a member of the group to get it. So be sure to click that link and jump over there. And be sure to tune in next week when we're going to continue our fall fun. See you next time.